Can I first of all acknowledge the commitment in the programme for government to introduce comprehensive reforms of the immigration, residency and asylum systems. This is certainly an area in urgent and dire need of such reform, and I would hope that this commitment includes as a given the reform of the direct provision system. Tonight, Chairperson, I wish to raise that issue of direct provision. In Galway City alone, there are 3 direct provision centres, and though these residents are not permitted to vote in general elections, I have interaction with them on a weekly basis. They visit me at my clinics, I meet them at community events, and some of them have become politically active. What is so obvious to me, and what I find lacks so often in the debate on these matters, is that residents in these centres, refugees and asylum seekers, are normal people, with hopes, dreams and ambitions, together with problems, troubles and challenges, just like every human being. Yet the political difficulty in raising these issues, the backlash from sections of the media, the rage from small elements of the public, and the indifference of so many is stark. I have received hate mail only once in my time as a public representative, and it was in response to a letter I wrote to a local Galway paper on this topic of direct provision. In the letter, I gave an example of a middle-aged woman I had just met. She was from Central Africa, had been in the asylum system for 3 years. She did not know how long her application would take or at what stage it was at. She was frightened. She shared her room, which was once a small hotel room, with 2 other women who she did not know. She had no personal space and no privacy. Her life, in my view, was tedious. She could not work. She could not afford nor access education. Her allowance of €19.10 per week did not allow her much scope. A return bus fare to the city centre was €3.20. So for 3 years, she did little or nothing, the only exception being some English lessons she took and interaction with fellow residents. Comprehending a life of doing nothing for a prolonged period is all but impossible for us here in this chamber. The very tedium, nihilism and pointlessness of it has huge implications. I remember one visit I made to the centre to visit someone who needed help, and I came across a fight in the lobby. The reason was a fight over the washing machine and who had access to it and whose turn it was. I am told by residents that these kind of outbreaks are a regular occurrence, the result of built-up tension, frustration and aggravation. They are also worried about the prevalence of depression. But the residents themselves are often very dubious about reporting these problems or concerns. They are afraid to report them because they fear that their application or asylum processing would be prejudiced. I am certainly not alone in my concerns, Chairperson. The Free Legal Aid Centres argue that direct provision does not adequately meet the health, legal, social and cultural needs of the residents. The Jesuit Refugee Service warns of the long-term negative institutional effects of direct provision centres. Human rights academics question the dubious legal standing and human rights implications of their operation. And seriously worrying are reports from agencies such as the Galway Rape Crisis Centre of exploitation of women and children both within and without the centres. There are times I wonder if we're looking at the genesis of a Cloynes report in 10 or 15 years' time. It is not true to say, however, that there is no function or use for the system of direct provision in Ireland. Indeed, for many of those entering the system, it provides a welcome, immediate environment in which to base oneself, engage with health and legal services, and acclimatise oneself to the country. But the period should not be excessive, and a maximum limit should be imposed. The system was introduced with the intention of housing people for not more than 6 months, and I think that that limit should be enforced. We cannot continue to institutionalise people in these circumstances indefinitely. For those reasons, Chair, I am calling tonight for a comprehensive review of the system of direct provision, addressing the concerns I have raised, and the introduction of a statutory maximum of 6 months' stay in such institutions, the introduction of an independent complaints body to hear and investigate the concerns of residents in the centre, and for the delivery, finally, of an overhauled and efficient asylum and immigration system which deals with people's applications quickly, fairly, openly and transparently. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks,